Full disclosure, the voice you are listening to now is artificially generated, brought to you by satisphonic.com. See the link in the description for more details. What small upgrade made a huge difference at your house? Methodically buying phone chargers with long enough cables to not have to ever move one again. I am a pretty mellow dad, benign neglect parenting style for 5 kids, but I have 2 rules. Nobody messes with my bedside charger, and nobody steals my 2 pillows. So as such, I make many long chargers available for everybody. It costs me a fortune. A better shower. If you can't redo the whole bathroom, just replace the head. This also works if you rent. Just keep the old one in a box, so you can bring the nice one to your next house. I'm a renter, and I finally installed a better shower head this year after just using the default head in all my apartments for almost 20 years. 10/10, highly recommend. Honestly, even a $30, $50 one on Amazon can be amazing. I have one I got near 5 years ago, and still is super nice. Fake brass exterior, still very shiny though, and good pressure. And a curved shower curtain rod. You get so much more arm space. Blackout curtains for sleeping, such a game changer. And they keeps my bedroom cooler. Soft close cabinets and toilet seats. We have a soft, close toilet seat at our home, and every time I'm at a hotel, I completely forget that they aren't usually soft close, and the slam startles me. Like, why is that an extra feature? All toilet seats should be soft close? Nah, sometimes it's important to be able to slap the seat down hard and fast, so the toilet knows in advance you're about to take an angry shit and can prepare itself for the abuse. Gotta show who number 2 works for. Whenever you move in a new place, it's worth it to replace the toilet seat with soft, close seats. They can be had for as cheap as $15 these days, and totally worth it. My wife and I own a smallish apartment complex. One of the things we do every time a new tenant arrives is replace the toilet seat. I learned that trick from my parents, who had about a dozen single-family rental. It's amazing the goodwill you receive from a tenant simply by giving them a new toilet seat. We actually put the box behind the toilet so they know it's new. So fucking upvoted. Thank you. Every time I move into a new place, I replace that before I even move one box in. You two are the best. I'll write a complimentary review of your rentals blindly. That's my blind review. Smart outlets for Christmas lights, both inside and outside. I have them scheduled to turn on at sunset and turn off at midnight. Replaced dated lighting fixtures. Fixtures are now properly grounded. The interior looks more updated, and there is more better light. Lighting can absolutely make a huge difference in the way you feel in your room. Get some shoulder height when you are sitting. Lamps for your living room. You will notice a shift in how much more relaxed you feel when you use those instead of the overheads. Can you come talk to my brother? He's in his room gaming until 2 a.m. with only the overhead on, the hue, adjusting light bulbs tuned to somewhere between doctor's office and call center. I have to remind my husband that I hate that kind of lighting. I even turn off my overhead in my work office and have floor and desk lamps on. I want it to be cozy. I've got a theory humans like warmer lights below shoulder level at night as a leftover biological preference from when we had to sit around campfires in the evening. Motion-activated light switch for the laundry room. Never have to worry about turning off the light when leaving with an arm full of clothing. Mine is in the garage, where second refrigerator is, where the beer is, the backup beer. Attic heat exhaust fan. Our attic used to get up to 140 on the hottest days, and on those days our ceilings were hot to the touch. The whole house was consequently uncomfortable. Now the attic fan is thermostatically controlled to 90 degrees, and the whole house is cooler. I added a passive whirlybird that does the same thing. Heat rises and escapes before it can accumulate to those extreme levels. It also happens to be clear acrylic, so now there's always light up there too, which helps keep away any vermin. Gooseneck kitchen faucet. Oh, you got it at Hammerban. Lost my neighbors. Everything got instantly better around me. Spending a day mounting my artwork. It felt so much more like my home after that. Every time I've moved, I put that off for way too long, then finally break down and do it, and the house feels so much better to be in. Those little battery-powered lights that light up only when someone passes. Just enough to not to kill yourself because some little shit left a wooden train on staircase, but not enough to wake up whole family. Those little battery-powered lights that light up only when someone passes. Read this and was like, Humidifier, how do the light know when someone dies? They're powered by ghosts. Wall decorations. Literally anything at all. I lived my whole adult life without decorating at all because it seemed pointless and like a waste of time and money. But man, after meeting my soon-to-be wife and helping her move in and put up her decor, it's astounding how much my house felt more like a home. The improvement of my mental state and comfort level was unexpected and eye-opening. It inspired me to decorate my basement with common man, cave stuff like a flag of my favorite football team, and bar signs and LED lights, and it's my favorite space in the whole world now. I feel dumb for scoffing at the idea of putting stuff up on my wall and wonder how much more I would have enjoyed living in my previous places. I learned this from The Sims. They are happier in clean rooms with more artwork, have a whole mood bar just for how their environment makes them feel. My wife and I getting separate blankets. No more fighting about who takes the covers while we're sleeping. Highly recommend 10-10. I did something similar, but instead of the second blanket I got a divorce. Little gems like this make the internet tolerable. Thank you for the laugh. King-sized bed. Look at you with a room big enough for a king. I read this in Dr. Zoidberg's voice. Probably the best investment you can make for your marriage. You can cuddle in the center or build a pillow wall 2 layers thick, and maybe a necessity if they have kids. One other thing is separate blankets for your spouse and you. Even when the kid SS come in bed with us, they best be bringing their own blankets. Everyone gets to have their own preferred blankets type, and no one is stealing someone else's blanket. Some of these answers aren't small at all. An actual small upgrade. Look at what areas of your house collect random piles of things and put a basket or holder of some kind there. Example, my coffee table as the remotes, coasters, random books, etc. All laying around, so I got a pretty decorative basket that now I can put those items in. Another example. My kitchen counters were collecting random dog treats and dog-related items that I used frequently and wanted easily accessible. So I bought a bread box that holds them. Things look so much more organized when you just put them in a container in a spot that they naturally get placed. Some of these answers aren't small at all. I get that small is relative, but some of the responses are big, expensive luxury items, or stuff like we replaced all our windows. And I feel like nobody can genuinely consider those small upgrades unless they can also consider buying a house to be a small expense. Mine are mostly kitchen-based because I cook dinner pretty much every night. A couple of those magnetic wall-mounted knife holders frees so much room on my countertops. Wall-mounted spice rack and glass jars keeps my spices where I can see them and monitor levels. Much easier to access than storing them in a cabinet or in the pantry. Wall-mounted hooks for pan storage. No longer need to make a ton of noise grabbing pans from the corner cabinet. Pots are still down there, however. All 3 cost me maybe $70 and have vastly improved my quality of life in the kitchen. A proper mesh Wi-Fi network. It used to be so annoying to lose signal in some parts of the house. Can you go into further detail? I've heard of it but don't know the first thing. Can you go into further detail? I've heard of it but don't know the first thing. Not who you asked, but I went down the rabbit hole of mesh Wi-Fi a couple years back, sharing my experience. My internet was running slow, so I requested a technician from my internet service provider, ISP, to check it out. He inspected my setup and said the bottleneck was my ancient Wi-Fi router I bought ages ago. He taught me to use speed test, net and fast, come to check Wi-Fi speeds around my house using my phone. He said I was paying for like 50 MBs on my internet plan and only getting 15 MBs because my router was too old. The technician recommended getting a mesh Wi-Fi setup, where you have multiple satellite routers spread throughout your house to carry a stronger, faster Wi-Fi signal. I did my research and found it's good to have a tri-band Wi-Fi mesh setup. The first 2 bands are for your devices to connect to Wi-Fi. The third band is a backhaul band for the router and satellites to communicate with each other. So I asked around my tech-savvy friends on Facebook, and they almost unanimously recommended getting a Netgear Orbi mesh Wi-Fi. I think 2 devices, 1 router and 1 satellite, are big enough for most houses. Depends on how strong the device's coverage is and how large your property is. I decided to splurge on a 3-device setup, 1 router and 2 satellites. So I could have one satellite on the second floor of my house. The way the Wi-Fi companies make money is to get you to subscribe for other services like security, parental monitoring and controls, etc. If you have kids and want to be able to monitor usage, set online curfews to cut off Wi-Fi at certain times, block harmful websites, etc. Look for a brand that includes those features out of the box and not charge a subscription for. Back when I was shopping around, Tablink's products offered those extra services included. The one holdout vote among my tech friends recommended Blink. Since I don't have kids and prioritize speed, I went with the Netgear Orbi 753. Most mesh Wi-Fi products have their own mobile app that will guide you step by step through the setup process. I'm not great at that technical stuff, but it went smoothly for me. When I was watching how-to videos on YouTube on setting up mesh Wi-Fi, one great tip I got from a video was to initially turn on the router and satellites together in the same room, so it's easier for the satellites to find and connect to the main router. After they're wirelessly connected, you can move the satellites to different parts of your house to get the widest coverage of Wi-Fi signal. Right away, there was a big change after I installed the Netgear Orbi. When I went around the house, checking internet speed tests on my phone, I was consistently getting 50 MPs or close to it. To be fair, the Orbi didn't make my internet faster. I wasn't getting a faster speed than my internet plan specified. The Orbi enabled me to get the full speed I was paying for. I don't have the fastest speed, but getting mesh Wi-Fi has made my internet and streaming TV experience much more enjoyable. I've noticed once in a while, the router will start rebooting frequently. Often it means having to log into the Netgear website and update the firmware. Be careful and check what users say in the support forums first. Sometimes the updates hurt more than help. Black Friday can be a good time to buy. At the time I bought mine, Netgear had a 10% discount for Black Friday and another 10% off if you subscribe to their email newsletter. I was able to stack those discounts and save a bit of money. Costco had the best pricing during Black Friday though. Hope this helps. Putting extra shelving in the pantry. Why the previous owners only used one wall when there's 3 is a mystery. Dishwasher. It has changed our arguments over dishes. After living here for 35 years, we had all the windows in the house replaced 5 months ago. The house is so much more comfortable and quiet. It was expensive, but worth it. Didn't expect such a big response. We replaced 11 windows of varying sizes with renewal by Anderson. All had to be custom made because of their outdated sizes. The largest was 5x7. They are composite materials with heat-reflecting glass. It is incredible to stand behind the window in direct sunlight and open and close them to feel the difference of the heat they block out. The house was definitely more comfortable during the hot summer, and the electricity bill was about 20% lower. They looked beautiful, and the crew of 6 guys removed the old and installed the new in one day and did not leave a mess of any kind. We ordered them in the last week in March, and they were installed in the first week in June. Total cost was $23. I cannot wait to get new windows and sliding doors. We replaced all the windows over 4 summers. The final one was the large bay window in our front family room. Suddenly we hear 0 road traffic and it feels like our place is in the country. Amazing how much difference it makes. Not sure I would call that a small upgrade, but agree definitely one of the best things you can do in a house. We really need to upgrade ours, but the price is scaring me. Small upgrade, $30,000. A whole home water filter. A whole house humidifier system. Used to have nosebleeds all winter and massive static electricity issues. Kept a small metal rod in my pocket at all times to ground myself before directly touching anything conductive, and my cat was generally terrified of being pet from April because of the powerful static shocks. Yuck, it was around $400 for the unit and I did the install in about 2 hours. Edit. For perspective, the static electricity issue was so bad that I killed a thermostat, a small stereo shelf system, an Xbox controller, and a television remote through static shocks the winter before getting the humidifier. I dream of living somewhere where I need to pump water into the air rather than trying to remove it. Controlling high humidity is a constant and futile battle. Bought an espresso machine because I was tired of how expensive Starbucks got. Life changer if you're into coffee. I freaking love the one in my office. Found it online for $32,000. Dimmer switches on all lights and heated towel racks. A Roomba. Living in a house with many small siblings, you have no idea how much time a Roomba saved. Tushy bidet. I get mad when I have to use a different toilet now. I'm truly converted. Bidet is the answer. I can't believe so many people walk around with unwashed heinies. Cut. She's pretty small, but easily the most important thing in here. Replaced our mattress with a trampoline. Wife hit the roof.